In our Sunrise Smart Start, the FDA has approved updated COVID-19 boosters for children as young as 5. And national reports are showing that pediatricians are frustrated that many parents seem to be holding back. Jatira Marsh joins us now in studio with more on this. Jatira, good morning.
Amel, good morning. Just over 37% of kids ages 5 to 11 have finished their vaccine series. This has medical professionals concerned. With winter on the way, there are more people indoors, meaning more chances for COVID to spread. The FDA has allowed boosters for kids as young as 5 to get ahead of the anticipated winter spike in cases. The bivalent boosters are made to broaden immunodefenses against mutations of COVID and the contagious Omicron. National reports are saying parents are reluctant to get their children vaccinated. Dr. Stephen Cook with the Golisano Children's Hospital says that's concerning.
We know these vaccines are really safe and they're really effective at preventing severe illness. This is now for the bivalent booster. This is the same booster that was already approved for adults 12 and older for both Pfizer and Moderna, except now it got approved for children 5 to 12.
Cook says as we get closer and closer indoors with many not masking, expect a cold and flu season that may resemble numbers from 2019. Amel, back to you.
All right, Jatira, thank you. Cook reminds everyone if they do test positive for COVID, they should stay home for 5 days and mask for 5 more after that. In developing news this morning, the Rochester Police Accountability Board will be hosting an emergency meeting tonight, though a portion may go into executive session. This amid a flurry of torrid accusations within the agency. The recently fired Chief of Policy and Oversight, Michael Higgins, is claiming PAB's acting manager, Dwayne Bosco, was intoxicated at a staff meeting last week. And according to Higgins, there has been no action taken to investigate this claim. Meanwhile, Bosco is asking the state to investigate the former director, Connor Dwyer Reynolds, claiming he's been interfering with the city's inquiry into a previous scandal. Reynolds responded saying Bosco is making ludicrous and defamatory statements. Rochester Mayor Malik Evans expressed his concerns.
What I'm concerned about is I want to make sure that taxpayer money is being used wisely, which is the only role I really have in any of these conversations related to the Police Accountability Board. And I look forward to hearing from City Council on the next steps that they will be taking.
In a statement from the PAB, they say they're going to work to address internal concerns by creating a 3-year strategic plan inclusive for all staff, hire a mediator to address internal issues, and build an internal task force to investigate and address issues around the organizational culture. Multiple organizations coming together for a rally in front of City Hall in Rochester. Citizen Action, Community Justice Initiative, and the Citywide Tenant Union of Rochester are calling on Mayor Malik Evans and City Council members to improve living conditions for renters in the community. To do this, they say the mayor and city council would need to work together to pass the Clean Hands Protection Law. This law would require any landlord to keep their places in safe and decent conditions and also keep up with repairs.
We want code enforcement inspectors held accountable for documenting the code violations that they seem to see as not, emergency-wise. And I work with a lot of tenants who can tell you right now that when inspectors come into their homes, they really care very little about their concerns. They're just there to go in and come out.
Organizers also say if the city of Rochester develops clear minimal standards for criminally charging landlords, the issue could be solved. Bob Duffy, the president and CEO of the Greater Rochester Chamber of Commerce, sending a confidential letter to state officials, including Governor Kathy Hochul, about his views on public safety. Duffy, in the letter sent back in July, wrote that he was concerned over how crime plagues the streets of Rochester every day. He says in part, quote, "I grew up on the streets of Rochester and served this community for over 4 decades, and I have never seen the issues of crime and public safety be as bad as they are today." He continues on, quote, "I am happy to help and support you in any way if asked, but I can't reinforce enough how important and urgent this is," end quote. An appellate judge has granted a request by State Attorney General Letitia James to allow New York's new concealed carry law to remain in effect as it advances through the legal system. It'll stay that way until a separate 3-judge panel rules on a previous stay that had put a pause to parts on the law. That pause came after a federal judge declared those parts of the law unconstitutional.